speak for itself. For Hillary Clinton, any chance she'll be hearing the phrase Madam President in the near future may rest on one word: inevitability. But it's that very idea that could prevent her from returning to the White House anytime soon. Several Democrats associated with Barack Obama's campaign spoke on the record with BuzzFeed's Ben Smith, saying they believe Hillary is repeating the same mistakes from 6 years ago. The president's chief campaign pollster, Joel Benenson, says, I just don't see any strategic value in stories positioning her as inevitable or the preemptive nominee, and I don't think people who are out there talking about this help her, and I think she should make that clear. Ben LaBolt, the Obama National Press Secretary for the 2012 campaign, added this: activists, donors, and voters like to see candidates fighting for every vote. If they start to feel like their power and influence is diminished, it could have unforeseen consequences. You want to explain that, John Helleman? What are the consequences?
Well, I think,
What's
you know,
power?
These folks are, the Obama people ran against Hillary Clinton in 2008 when inevitability was her thing.
Yeah.
And they proved that inevitability was her curse in 2008. And they're looking back and saying, you know, I think quite reasonably that, you know, this does not help her if it looks like she's resting on her laurels and trying to cruise into the nomination. The only question I have for them is, I don't think the Clinton people are driving these stories. The problem is these stories are kind of naturally, they're being driven naturally by Democrats and by the press, which see a lot of the factors that make Hillary's strength as a presumptive
like the
nominee
Ready for Hillary stuff and all
yes,
that?
well,
but couldn't Hillary Clinton make a call and say, hey, you're not helping me?
Well,
and they would stop in a heartbeat. Come on.
She could, although she wants those people out there raising money for her. But I think it's the press that's driving these stories much more than the Clinton quote campaign, because there is no Clinton campaign right now.
Hey, Chuck Todd, off of what Heilman just introduced into this discussion, Hillary Clinton really doesn't have to do anything at any time for a while, right?
Well, she doesn't, but, you know, we got to look back on our history and find out, you know, how long did we have three-year inevitable frontrunners? Sort of Reagan in 77 and 78, kind of. But you really have to go back to Dwight Eisenhower, who was being courted by both parties as sort of this inevitable president in waiting type of thing. You know, we don't treat frontrunners very well, and we certainly don't treat them very well in our modern politics.
Do we treat well?
And the idea of 3 years of her being a frontrunner seems like something of a Herculean task to keep up. But John's right. You know, this is a case. Now, look, I think there are some things that she does have within her control. I've been surprised. I was surprised at how public she was last year. I really thought she was basically going to take the year off, do the CGI events with Bill Clinton, now that the two of them are running the foundation together, and then that's it. But she has been a little more active, I think, than a lot of people in the Democratic Party thought. But some of this stuff's out of her control. I mean, I think between Ready for Hillary and this other stuff, and, you know, all of these other Clinton super PACs, while they announce that they've signed this Obama person or that Obama person, it's all part of the old Clinton power structure who are desperate, who know they're not going to be involved in the new Clinton campaign, so they're looking for relevancy, and they have founded on these super PACs, and they're the ones. I mean, you know, there was an event in Iowa 2 weeks ago with, I think, Craig Smith and Theresa Vilmain, longtime sort of political players, Theresa Vilmain all over the Democratic Party, Craig Smith primarily a Bill Clinton guy. But they're sitting there holding an Iowa event. I'm with you, Mika. I think Hillary could have picked up the phone and gone, whoa.
Come on.
You want to raise money. You want to be a placeholder. You want to help push back if people start attacking Hillary. That's one thing. You're going to start holding events in Iowa now for me because, you know, no matter what, it just adds to this idea that there's an entire apparatus.
Can I just say, I just don't get the criticism from Ben LaBolt and the other Obama people. They say, well, voters want to see you scrapping for every vote. Well, to scrap for every vote, you have to be a candidate. And she's not a candidate. I mean, what is she supposed to do? Is she supposed to say, hey, take 30 percentage points off my polling data just for the hell of it so I don't seem inevitable? I mean, she's not doing anything, and we expect these people to be positioning themselves constantly for a race that's, you know, a year away, maybe 2 years away. But, you know, let's just keep in mind that she hasn't announced that she's running, so I don't really get why we're criticizing her positioning if there's nothing to position for at this juncture.
Well, Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley has been very open about his political aspirations, telling the Washington Post he won't wait for Hillary to make her decision to announce his plans for 2016. Gene Robinson, you know, the other, I guess, criticism, I mean, she's not doing anything to actually incite the criticism, so I'm not sure this is fair, is that she doesn't really have a message. I mean, what would her platform be, as opposed to Martin O'Malley's, or I always bring up Elizabeth Warren because it's very clear what her message would be. Would she run?
Well, you know, I'm not sure, and she may not be sure at this point because, as Sam pointed out, she hasn't announced that she's running, and we got to wait till the election just to kind of pile on and you know, Bolton and others who might think that there's something wrong with what she's doing. I mean, I think political geniuses are geniuses because their perception is right for that moment, and they were so right for 8 years ago. They got the wave. They knew what was happening in the country before other people did, and that rarely lasts. Yeah. You know, and so it's a different time, and I think inevitability, you know, 8 years ago was a terrible strategy, a terrible place to be. This time, it might be a better place to be. It certainly seems to be scaring a lot of Democrats out. Martin O'Malley is frankly running for vice president at this point if she gets in. So it's fine.
So is it